little shithead.
Yep.
The genesis of McGillicuddy.
Pass the ball, the ultimate warrior.
Look at the adjective. Play.
Can't run because you're fat.
Finally, The Rock has come back home.
I'm back.
The boys are back in the saddle on a different platform, so the Atomic Drop Show rides again on YouTube.
Did you miss me? Oh, how I have missed you.
You can talk a little wrestling with us by calling 803-369-3537.
You're gonna give me what I want. I've been asking for it for years.
And now, here are your hosts, Justin Time and Kyle Cruz.
Paul, say something stupid.
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
Circle, Matt Hardy, Orange Cassidy, Tommaso Ciampa, and Johnny Gargano. All that and more on this guaranteed future repeat of the Atomic Drop Show. I am your charming, colorful, and oh so handsome host, Justin Time, and alongside me, all the way out in sunny Orlando, is my co-host, Kyle Cruz. Kyle, how you doing?
I'm doing great, but I'm just going to pull back the curtain a little bit. The first part of your brand new intro, which was excellently, wonderfully done, you were muted for it. So I am so sorry. That is my bad. Leave it up to me to screw it up. So it lives on in infamy in our hearts because we are the only ones.
To you.
Because I heard you heard yourself, but nobody else heard it. So I am really sorry about that.
Damn it!
If you want to do it again,
okay.
then feel free.
I saved that one for a couple days, but you know what? I think we're going to save it. We're going to save it. We're going to be all right.
Okay. Well, then I'm really sorry about that, dude. But hey, man, it happens. Welcome to
New producer around here. Well, I think we need to get Donnie on the horn.
We might have to get Donnie on the horn. We got now. Hold on a second, because there might be a lot of new viewers, a lot of new listeners here, either through YouTube or through Anchor, who don't know the ins and outs of our program. So we are officially back. This is our weekly stream. We are beginning again. So Justin, if you don't mind, could you give people just a little bit of background on who we are? I don't want to spend too much time on it because we got to get right to the action. But if you don't mind, explain to the people who we are, how long we've been around, all that jazz, you know?
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Justin Time of the Atomic Drop Show and the new recently podcast, Potting Around Rochester, which is currently taking a hiatus due to the coronavirus. Sadly. Me and my co-host over here, Kyle Cruz, who is based out of Orlando, Florida, have been podcasting together for about 10 years now, going on now 11 this year.
Man, that's a long time.
It's been a very long time. Longer than most relationships, that's for damn sure.
That's true.
Hey, and with that, we here discuss pro wrestling, pop culture, anything else comes to mind. If you just need an ear to talk to, we're more than happy to give you some advice too. We're not like a love line or anything like that. We leave that up to Dr. Drew and Adam Carolla for those types of advice. And yes, I am dating myself.
Wow, yeah, because Adam Carolla, like, I'm pretty sure dude hasn't been on Loveline in like probably like 10 years, right?
Wait, I'm sure maybe even longer.
Like, is Loveline even on the air anymore?
No,
I didn't think so, because they replaced it with. Okay, so super inside baseball here. So that show was produced in LA on K-Rock, and for you folks that might not know, I am currently in Orlando, Florida, but I was born and raised in Los Angeles, California, and every night, I think it was like 6 nights a week, about 10 o'clock, you'd hear Loveline, and it was the most ridiculous thing ever. And they syndicated it all around the country, but we got it like live. So they had the most outrageous callers. So if you guys want to channel your inner Loveline, that's perfectly fine. You just can't trust the advice we would give you, because we would give you terrible advice. But we'll give it a shot.
Absolutely. I mean, was it no pain, no game, no loss, no muss? I mean, we will do our best for you. But yes, we are a pro wrestling pop culture therapeutic podcast where if you just want to sit there and just kind of Jones with us, we are a little bit everywhere, but the primary focus is professional wrestling. And if you, the lovely listeners of YouTube or wherever else you are streaming this, please feel free to call in area code 803-369-3537. Again, I will slow that down. If you are not looking at the screen, it is 803-369-3537. Kyle, how you doing this evening?
I am doing pretty good, man. It is week 17 of quarantine times. You know, it feels like we have been locked up for about half a year, and I have sufficiently gone stir crazy. How about you?
To be fair, I will pull back the curtain myself too. I live in Rochester, New York, which is across the state from New York City, for all those who are looking to wonder how this guy is still alive. For retrospective purposes, I live about an hour and a half away from Buffalo, moving east, to put that in perspective. Other than that, I am kind of slowly losing my mind myself. I have a honey-do list that is continuously growing. I am trying to finish up the children's playroom. Hopefully, I should be able to get all the painting done out of that. Hopefully by tomorrow, because I'll put on a second coat, lay down some sweet baseboard paint, and then after that, it is off to the races with a hammer and some nails and lay down some new flooring.
Yeah, that sounds like a bunch of stuff that I cannot do at the moment. So, like I said,
nobody wants it.
This is very true. Like I said on Sunday, I commend you and I salute you, because that's not my thing at all. But you got this, and I hope you get that list taken care of sooner rather than later. Man,
the secret is if you do have to go somewhere, make sure that you are like one of the first people. I go to Lowe's. Fun fact, Lowe's is open at 6 o'clock in the morning. There's never anybody there. So always be the first person at 6 o'clock at Lowe's. Shh.
Okay.
Shout out to
Hey, wait. So do they also sell toilet paper?
You know what? They do not. However, they do have, if you're in a pinch, they do have Tide Pods or Tide detergents.
Are they edible?
You know what? Last time I checked, they are. I would go in the back of the packaging and make sure that is still true. I know that some bootlegs have been coming out, so I just want to make sure everybody is getting the most pristine Tide pads out there. And also, I do not condone the use of bath salts, and that's that.
That is a Florida special here. Tons of black.
That's all you.
No, I mean, I ain't doing it, but just you know, man, in a general sense, you feel me? All right, so there's a lot, yet not a lot going on in the world of professional wrestling, and this is like really crazy because this has to be the first time in a very long time where the week after WrestleMania, the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania was just really underwhelming, and for there to be, you know, such a generally speaking such a big event, there's just it's kind of barren, it's kind of dry right now, right?
It is. It's lackluster.
Absolutely.
I think it's the best word to use. A lackluster Monday Night Raw, a lackluster performance. It felt like, sure, we did get a couple of returns in there. We got Nia Jax back.
I'm not like most girls.
That's right. Bianca Belair got her call up.
Shout out to Bianca Belair, man. Look, I don't know if the plan is to go with a 3-person squad with Tez, Bianca, and Dox, but I like that pairing, or I like the original Street Profits pairing, and then you put in Bianca as well. That is straight money. Straight money. You're looking at the future when you see those three, for sure.
Well, looking at them like that, it kind of makes me feel like Enzo, Cass, and Carmella when they come out like that.
Good comparison, especially because when you take it, just however you feel about Big Cass and however lots of people feel about Enzo, they had this undeniable connection with the crowd, and that is fantastic. And that's something that
you can't teach that.
Yeah, I was hoping you would pick up on that.
Still got
Yes, you do. All right. Anyway, so they had this connection to the crowd, and it was an incredible thing to see. One of my favorite memories in the modern era was, I don't believe it was the first night. It might have been like the second or third week after Enzo and Cass got their call up, and they went out. It might have been in Brooklyn, might have been in Jersey, but Enzo didn't even speak. The entire crowd just did his promo for him. And that was just one of the most electric moments I've seen in the last, 5 to 10 years. Now, the Street Profits and Bianca Belair have a different kind of connection. A similar kind of connection, but a different kind of charisma, because they don't have full blown promos like that. But I can see one day, once we get crowds back, however that works, whenever that happens, that we will get to see true stars in the making with a genuine connection with the crowd, and I just can't wait for that to happen, because they're I just believe in them 100%.
Totally agree. I mean, they got something a little bit different there. It's something cool, something, unique.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll flourish and grow.
They totally will. And it looks like they were feuding with Zelina Vega and Angel Garza, Austin Theory, whatever they're calling themselves. Seems like that's been the program. Anytime I get to see Zelina Vega wrestle, then that is awesome, because she was really underrated during her time in Impact Wrestling. And she's really good. Now, don't get me wrong, she is fantastic as a manager. I think that is where she is best used by far.
Oh, yes.
Because she's just incredible.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, just as a wrestler, sometimes you miss seeing her do it, and I bet deep down she misses it sometimes as well. Probably more than she's willing to let on, publicly speaking.
I mean, she did get her big break in Fighting With My Family there, playing AJ.
Yo, I love AJ Lee, and I love Zelina Vega. I watched that movie twice, and I'm trying to think, why did the wardrobe in just during that last scene, there was only one WWE scene in the entire movie, and they had AJ Lee, the character, come out in something kind of pretty glammed up, and I'm like, that is the complete opposite of the low-key attire that AJ wore. I'm still salty about that.
And fun fact, I was there at WrestleMania. That night after WrestleMania 30, I was there. I should have gotten a shirt, but...
Hey, so speaking of shirts of I was there, did you pick up your official WWE WrestleMania 36 I was not there t-shirt?
I have not yet. I feel like I should.
Now, if they would have came out with those shirts for the XFL, then I would buy those, because I was totally gonna make it down to a Tampa Bay game sometime before they canceled the season. It's a sad day.
I understand that.
It is.
I completely understand that, and I feel bad. But you know what? It's just Tampa being Tampa right now, and Tampa Bay just sucks.
Tampa Bay does suck. I mean, man, it certainly can. So, once again, if you are listening to us right now, if you're watching us here on YouTube, feel free to call in 803-369-3537. That is 803-369-3537 to call in now. Justin and Kyle Cruz here on the Atomic Drop Show. And folks, in case you didn't get a chance to listen on Sunday, we did an immediate post-game reaction to night 2 of WrestleMania 30 this past Sunday night, and we talked about the Firefly Funhouse match, which we're going to get into just a little bit later on. We talked about Edge and Randy Orton and their marathon of the match. I believe it's the second, it's either the second or third longest match in WrestleMania history. It was a very long match.
Jesus.
Yeah, man, it was crazy, right? Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte. Lots of things, lots of matches happened this past weekend at WrestleMania, but there doesn't really seem to be a whole lot to talk about, with the exception of the big ones. The Boneyard match coming out of Saturday, and then the Firefly Funhouse coming out of Sunday. And when you take a look at the Firefly Funhouse, I mean, there was a lot of varying reactions. A lot of people loved it. Quite a few people hated it.
People hate it.
Where did you fall on that? I know we dived in a little bit on Sunday, but now that you've gone through and watched it a couple times and there's been room here, what's your thoughts?
You know what? My honest opinion of it, I thought it was genius to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
First time you are to watch it, it gave you a sense of, is the internet compared to an acid trip?
I wouldn't know, but if that's what one feels like, then I think I'm good.
Hey, I'm just going by what the sweet people of the internet tell me, the WIC.
IWC?
Yes.
They're always right. It's all right.
They always are. Then upon rewatching it a couple extra times there, I started watching it and I was like, you know what? It just gets deeper and deeper and deeper. And we discussed that also one Reddit user was able to say that Bray Wyatt was using psychological warfare against John Cena, which is unheard of, first off. It was a comparison of all of John Cena's failures, if he were to fail in WWE.
Absolutely.
And looking back at it, if he failed that many times, he should not have been on that payroll for that long.
Well, I mean, I don't know if they were necessarily actual failures as much as it is either his fears and missed opportunities, because that's where the whole NWO thing came about, where John Cena never made that heel turn, which he talked about multiple times, that he was supposed to turn heel during the initial feud with The Rock heading into WrestleMania 28, and that never happened. Had new gear, had new theme music, had new everything made, and I think he regards it as a missed opportunity. And to see something on screen portrayed in that way, and not, it didn't necessarily seem forced to me. There are sometimes, lines that are written, to
No.
I know, right? But they're written just for the internet crowd, just to say, hey, we're trying to gaslight you, and we're trying to, just get you to pop. But that it's still within canon, because Cena has gone on record in interviews, he even part of the storyline, he said on the way to WrestleMania 29 and the rematch with The Rock that his life, you know, went into complete tailspin, which I don't see how that happened because he still went on to main event every single pay-per-view that year, but I digress. But they even teased him turning heel that year as well, but it was still a missed opportunity. And it seemed like every year there were more and more opportunities to go that route, and for whatever reason, WWE didn't decide to turn him heel. And I think that that's something that he might look back on once he finally decides to actually hang it up. I think that's going to be a big regret of his.
Oh, totally. We all know the reasons why he wasn't turning heels, because he had the gear made, he had everything all set up, but he was the hottest merchandise seller. I mean, why would you kill your cash cow like that?
I mean, so yes, this was also during the time where they had CM Punk, who was also moving a lot of merchandise. He wasn't moving Cena numbers. But then again, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't there a time when Zack Ryder was really, really hot, and there was some kind of report saying he was outdrawing John Cena? I don't know how true that was, because just saying that out loud just doesn't seem right. But I remember hearing either a Meltzer report or Mike Johnson or somebody said, yeah, Zack Ryder is out here pulling Cena numbers.
That sounds absurd, but I'm sure for a mid-carder, absolutely.
I don't know how that works, but either way, yes, he was the WWE, he was their cash cow, and to a certain extent, he still is, because he still moves the needle when he comes back, and when he does come back, he's always put in prominent positions, high profile spots, and kids to this day love him. I remember going to like SmackDown shows, either house shows or SmackDown TV tapings, when Cena wasn't a SmackDown guy. He was a Raw guy. And the merch stands would be filled with nothing but Cena merchandise. All the kids in the stands with the Cena merch. And they'd always like leave sad because Cena never showed up. But guaranteed, the parents bought the shirt, bought the wristbands, bought the armband, bought the headband, bought the little chain.
There you go.
All that stuff.
Sadly, my oldest, I have made him realize that Cena just isn't the way to go. He is now a very proud Samoa Joe fan.
Shout out to Samoa Joe, man. That's my guy, man. I like Samoa Joe.
Everybody loves some Joe.
That's true.
I hope he gets back soon, because this poor guy just can't stay healthy to save his soul nowadays.
So then I have a question for you, as we're completely following our format. So
Totally.
So Samoa Joe was injured while filming the new
Must Be Monday.
The new Must Be Monday commercial spot. Now, I will ask you, was it worth it? Was the commercial and how it turned out worth it?
No.
No?
That commercial was not worth it. I'm sorry. I still live and die for the USA Network's Characters Welcome. I thought that was their best marketing ad campaign. Or my second favorite one was the WWE Fan Nation.
I don't remember much about the Fan Nation stuff, but the USA Characters Welcome stuff, that campaign was really good. But I really like the Must Be Monday stuff. Like I like, there's something about it that's just it's goofy, it's over the top. You have Ricochet.
It's USA. It's definitely USA style. I mean, it falls in line with the character's Welcome era.
Absolutely.
Now, mind you, I'm kind of marking out of that because I was a big Burn Notice fan, and still am a big Burn Notice
I
fan.
never got into it.
Love Burn Notice. You were a Monk guy though, right?
I watched.
Or Psych?
No, I never watched Psych, but I was a Monk guy. But I think by that time, Monk was kind of floating toward the end of his run, if I'm not mistaken.
Tony Shalhoub.
Tony Shalhoub, that's right.
Yeah, Tony Shalhoub, and then if you are old enough, if you are old enough and you are listening, write in the comments section if you still remember the amazing show that followed Monday Night Raw in the late '90s, Silk Stockings,
Dude,
or La Femme Laquita.
that was like that was like early, mid, and late '90s, man. Wasn't there a show? I don't know. I'm trying to think if it followed Raw or if it followed another late night WWE show on USA, but it was like a Howard Stern show called Son of the Beach, something like that, right?
Yeah, something like that.
I remember the name. Never watched the actual show, but I remember always feeling that the late night stuff
Was always the coolest. I mean, you had late night or Up All Night with Ronda. I was gonna say Ronda Rousey, but Ronda Shear.
So I didn't watch Up All Night, but I did watch this YouTube clip of Up All Night from the Anaheim Pond, once again, right in my neighborhood, from like 1993, something like that. I was probably at the card because I was going to nothing but house shows at the time. But USA Up All Night was awesome. At least that particular episode. A lot of people have tons of memories of it. La Femme Nikita, Silk Stockings. My personal favorite to this day, a top 5 animated show of all time that nobody talks about, Duckman. Jason Alexander put on for the show. My dad back in California has the complete series on DVD, and I gave it back to him before I moved, and I'm low-key kind of regretting it because I want to watch the entire series again. It was that good. Once again, for you folks who might not know by our conversation currently, we are a pro wrestling podcast. Lots that we can still talk about from WrestleMania weekend, but if you want to call in, go to or dial in
803-369-3537. Again, that phone number is 803-369-3537.
Thanks for stealing the heat.
Yes, you're welcome. I'm a great heat stealer.
That's true. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Shout out to you.
Okay, so let's see what we got on this brand new format show that we should try to follow. Okay, we got the Funhouse. Okay, let's try Rhea Ripley.
Rhea Ripley. Yeah, so what's the deal with Rhea Ripley, man?
What's the deal with Rhea Ripley?
She's at first reports said that her work visa expired, and then now there's reports and she's putting out pictures saying she's still here at home. I don't really know how that works because I thought they actually banned all international travel. Maybe I'm just not keeping up with the news for a multitude of reasons. But why? Like, I didn't think she was in immediate danger of having to head back to Australia anyway.
I totally agree. I don't foresee anybody getting deported in or out of the country anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't necessarily see it. I mean, there were quite a handful of wrestlers who were traveling in, just indie wrestlers who were traveling in from Europe and from Australia and from Japan and Asia, all over the place for WrestleMania weekend before it got canceled. My God.
Cancer?
Oh my God. Excuse me.
Come on.
Before it got canceled. Excuse me. I don't know where that came from. But one person in particular, Shaza McKenzie, she came through, and she had to leave a couple weeks back, and she flew back to her home in Australia, and upon entering, she was mandated a 14-day quarantine, automatic, because I guess according to them we can't be trusted, and that's kind of how we're treating everybody here. So it makes sense. But I would imagine that if Rhea wanted to go to visit her family, she could, but I would imagine that she would face the risk of not being able to come back at least for a little while. She did lose the NXT Women's Championship at WrestleMania, which to me was a bit of a surprise, which made this report seem credible then. Like, why would she lose? And then it turns out, oh, well, if her visa's...
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, like, she can't stick around. It makes total sense.
I mean, it totally makes sense to do it via that way. I mean, it was a complete shocker when we watched it back during WrestleMania. And then once after that, it was like, oh, kind of took the surprise out of it. But hey, at least we will forever get Instagram images of Rhea Ripley and her dogs in Orlando until she gets sent back to the land down under with Chris Hemsworth.
He's Australian?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Crikey.
Like, legit shows you what I know. Like, I know very little about pop culture. I still have yet to watch The Mandalorian. So, yeah. Hey. I still have like 8 months before the second season starts. So, relax, calm down.
We did a whole episode about Disney Plus. Remember that?
Yeah, yes, we did.
And we talk about pop culture here on the show. You are killing the business here.
I'm not killing the business, man. I'm just being honest, man. I'm just being transparent with all of our listeners right now. But,
you know what goes good with transparency? I'm going to tell you what goes good with transparency. The fine people over at Reload Rub and Seasoning.
Love those guys. Tell them more about Reload Rub and Seasoning.
I'm going to tell you all about Reload Rub and Seasoning, proud sponsors of the Atomic Drop Show.
Yes, indeed.
If you have never heard of Reload Rub and Seasoning, they are a Kentucky-based organization that do rubs and seasonings. They offer a plentiful supply of seasonings, such as Double Action, Sweet and Smoky Barbecue Blend,
That's my favorite.
Fully Loaded, Premium Signature Blend. They also have one of my personal favorites, the Chipotle Garlic Blend. And my personal all-time favorite is the Pack and Heat Signature Spicy Blend. I love spice. And also they have a brand new one called the Magnum Steak and Chop Seasoning.
You really can't lose with any of them. So I was right with you. Pack and Heat was my favorite. Yet, you know, when we got the care package and the Cruise household got all the goodies, all of the Reload rubs and seasonings, along with some swag. We got a load of the Double Action, and that smoky barbecue taste. I'm like, I like that.
Pure heaven.
It really is. And so we legit put it on everything. We had chicken last night. We put it on the chicken, and it was fantastic. I'm telling you, you guys do not know what you're missing. You have to pick up some Reload rub and seasoning. Can you please tell them about the deal we have going on if they want to get some and save a little buck and save a few bucks while they're at it?
Absolutely. If you go to reloadrub.com and use the promo code Atomic Drop, you save yourself 10% at checkout, ladies and gentlemen, 10% at checkout. If you go to Reload Rub and Seasoning, proud sponsors of the Atomic Drop Show, as we said, Joel and Stacy, we had them on back in December. Fun guests, fun people. Believe it or not, we actually they were our guests, but we started interviewing them about questions about Mayor
Mayor
Kane,
Kane, that's right.
Mayor Kane over in Knox County, Tennessee, and that is where these guys are. So we had to ask him about the ins and outs of Glenn Jacobs and ask him how's he doing over there as mayor. So we thought that was pretty cool too. I have nothing but the highest respect, and I'm sure Kyle can also agree that they are fantastic people. And also, Stacy over there is a nurse over there too, so she's putting in some serious hours over there in the hospitals and whatnot with all the pandemics going on. So we also want to send some sweet, sweet love out to her, tell them that we're always thinking about her, and whatever I proudly use any of my Reload Rub and Seasonings, I sit there and try to shill out as best as I can for them. But at checkout, put in all your merch, save 10% with promo code Atomic Drop.
Absolutely, Joel and Stacy are two wonderful human beings. It was my absolute pleasure to talk to them, to interview them, to get to know them better. They are just two fantastic people, and they make an awesome product. So do not hesitate, do not wait. Support them and legit change the game of anything you cook, anything you put on the grill. It is worth it. I'm telling you. I always say this to my wife. It is game changing. So Reload Rub, do not miss out. So I have to ask you.
Ask away.
This past Monday night, and
Okay.
I don't know if it is on our format sheet. I don't think it is, but
Nothing.
right. Coming off of a fantastic crowning achievement moment on Saturday, Drew McIntyre was crowned new WWE champion. And it seems like you just can't be a new champion without running into the Big Show.
Yeah.
At some point you're either gonna face Big Show or you're gonna face Kane. Daniel Bryan
Or,
faced Kane.
Can I even throw one more in there?
Sure. Who you got?
You make I out of nowhere you might even get a Mark Henry just out of pure blue.
You might. I'm trying to think who was it that it might have been Cena who was like out of Mania. No, they turned Ryback after Mania 29 when Cena beat The Rock. It was like a random heel turn. Ryback turned heel, and I'm like, really? Ryback? It seems like they have to put some kind of obstacle in front of the babyface champ to just make them seem strong. So either Kane, Big Show, or Mark Henry, definitely those three. Definitely those three. I'm afraid that at some point, I mean, he's a champion now, so he doesn't have to worry about it this particular year. But at some point, Braun Strowman was really being put into that role of, okay, we have a new champion. We, Reigns just won the belt, or Brock just won the belt. Okay, who could he, or who can put him over? Who can headline? Who can main event, but never win? It's gonna be Braun Strowman until this past
Sunday night.
I was trying to think of which date it was, but yes,
It's Saturday,
Sunday this past weekend at WrestleMania.
At Mania. Let's just say at Mania.
At Mania. That's right. At PC Mania for sure.
But I agree. It was interesting, and you are 100% correct. It is the right of champion to get yourself a burner of just a contestant.
Right. Yeah. Oh man. All right. So, as you can see, I finally just pulled up the format here because
I appreciate that.
Hey, man. I do what I can. All right. So, look, man, I also gotta ask you about this because
okay, yes.
I readily admit that I gave you a hard time, 8, 9, 10 years ago when you said you didn't watch TNA. You did.
Still don't.
Hey, they're doing some good stuff. I don't watch it as much as I should. But there are, but I have friends there. I have acquaintances there. Shout out to a lot of people there, actually. But
as long as they're bringing home a paycheck, I'll power.
Absolutely. So I always got like really annoyed that you never gave them a real shot long term.
I mean, I did. I mean, Broken Matt was the greatest creation ever out from them.
No, I'm talking about like before that, like during their glory days. When they still had Styles, when they still had, when they brought in Mr. Kennedy, Anderson, whatever you call him at the time, when they brought in Sting, when they brought in Hulk Hogan, when they had the Blueprint, Matt Morgan, when they had the Pope,
Black Pope,
when they had who's the other, when they brought in Rob Van Dam, Jeff Hardy, guys like that.
Joe.
Obviously they had Joe, the one of the great. I might say he is more he might be more influential in TNA than AJ Styles was. That could be a debate for another time. But I say all of this to set up AEW. I was on the AEW bandwagon. I was at the first.
Boy, were you.
I was at the first Starcast, and I was like, yo, this is crazy. This is electric. There is something here if they play it right. But over the past few months, I'm like, I've just lost interest. I am a firm believer that NXT has the better product on Wednesday nights. But you are a faithful viewer of AEW, so try and catch me up. What in the world is going on in AEW right now?
Well, right now, we have the return of Damascus, Matt Hardy.
I'm sorry. The return of what, Matt Hardy?
Damascus.
Damascus. Like the road?
Yes.
Like Damascus. Well,
yes.
Why is he called Damascus?
Well, he is called that because oh boy.
Just get into it, man. Just get into it.
The zenith of Matt Hardy's brokenness has ran its course, and he had to bury the brokenness, and now Damascus has now risen from the zenith.
Delightful.
Yes. Yeah, you asked.
Yes, I did, and I regret it ever so slightly. Ever so slightly. Wow.
So now he's rocking out some sweet red hair.
Oh, he got the red hair now. All right.
He's got the red hair, so he's going like that. He's got still the same. I like to look at it as his ring gear and think of it as a nice velvet couple hooks on there. He's still got that. Kind of hoping he would change that up, but nope. Damascus is all about that red life.
Is it weird seeing him outside of WWE again? Obviously, he did the Impact thing, did Ring of Honor, went everywhere, but he's with AEW now, and it's not that weird at all.
No, he's like a chameleon, man. The guy can sit there, adapt, and then it's like, all right, what's the next wrestling organization? We need to get a couple of Hardys in here, and then there they go. And then all of a sudden, oh, look, they go back home to WWE, and then, all right, I want to do this. Creator says no. I'm like, all right, I'm deucing. And then they go out to the next one. Then they go back home. It's the Hardy way.
It must be the Hardy way. Speaking of the Hardy way, there was a report by Sportster, which, you have to take that with a grain of salt because, it's Sportster and they're not the most accurate people. But Jeff Hardy allegedly, Jeff Hardy almost left WWE WrestleMania 36 as Universal Champion. Now, I'm going to read this. This particular story was posted by Cultaholic, and this comes from Aiden Gibbons. It says, on the March 13th episode of Friday Night SmackDown, Jeff Hardy returned to WWE TV and wrestled in his first match in almost a year against King Corbin. The charismatic Enigma picked up where he left off, as he vanquished Corbin in under 3 minutes after connecting with the Swanton Bomb. Hardy hasn't stepped inside the squared circle since then, but he has remained in the news as he recently revealed WWE had agreed to bring back his No More Words entrance theme, the music he used during his most successful run with the company. I want to get back to that point in just a second, because that makes me all kinds of happy. The extremely popular song almost accompanied Jeff in another world title victory, as WrestleTalk revealed the 3-time world champion was one of 2 possible replacements for Roman Reigns in his Universal Championship match with Goldberg. WWE ultimately decided to go with Braun Strowman at WrestleMania 36, however. If the company had chosen Hardy, he would have left the Showcase of Immortals as Universal Champion, because the title change was guaranteed after Goldberg refused to extend his WWE deal beyond April the 5th. So, Jeff Hardy almost left WrestleMania as Universal Champion. But the more important news is, No More Words. That theme song, like, I still play it to this day. I had it come up on my Spotify like 3 days ago. It's a banger of a song. I love that song. And I love Jeff Hardy's singles run.
Okay.
You're gonna take the feed? Not gonna no.
No, I got nothing. I was never a big Jeff Hardy fan.
Wow. I set you up, man.
I know. I'm more of a Matt fat guy.
You're a Matt fat guy. I'm a Brother Nero guy. It's okay. I guess that's why we make good partners. And, like, that's cool. But man,
I'm sorry.
Hey.
I'm sorry I left you there, but no, it's like I always thought Matt was always the smarter worker and not so much of a spot monkey.
When you say smarter worker, see, now this is an interesting conversation, because when you say smart, what do you mean? Because Hardy took, those physical risks too. It's just that, and it's funny enough, because the knock against Matt Hardy for the longest time was that he didn't really show a lot of personality. He wasn't very charismatic, at least in comparison to Jeff. And then now you have Matt Hardy doing all this broken stuff and the woken stuff, and then what does he call himself? Damascus. Thank you. He's setting the world on fire with these variations on the broken gimmick. And Jeff, he still has that connection with the crowd, kind of like the Street Profits, kind of like Enzo and Cass, kind of like those, like just that general same vein of guys. But it's different. Matt Hardy is arguably the bigger star right now. And that, like, 2003 Kyle Cruz is kind of freaking out in amazement at that thought, because I would not have thought the same thing back then.
Well, I like to think Matt as obviously not so much as a risk taker, but more of the ground and pound kind of guy. I love my ground and pound wrestlers. Absolutely. I love technical wrestling. Technical wrestling, I get a big enjoyment out of. I love my Drew Gulaks. Love Drew Gulak. I love Daniel Bryan. I love Samoa Joe, because they can just sit there and they can just wrestle you. And that's what I want. I want like Bret Hart, Drew Gulak, technicality wrestling. That is where it's at for me.
I understand completely. Drew Gulak is one of the best technicians on the WWE roster right now. He's being used with Daniel Bryan right now. And he's getting a little bit more of a spotlight. and that is awesome, because he's been underrated to the general public for a very long time, but the fans in the know, they have known for a good while. And yeah, man, he's awesome. I can't wait for Timothy Thatcher to finally be unleashed, and I hope that they can get him on TV and really do something meaningful with him, because he is another one of those submission specialists that can just grapple you, wrestle you down to the mat, and just give you a technical masterclass. And that's something that you don't really get from a lot of promotions, kind of on a grand scale. I promise this segue is unrelated, but let's get back to AEW. What in the world is going on with AEW?
I was just going to segue out of that for a second to go back to something else.
Oh, sure thing. Yeah, what's up?
If you guys were proud listeners of the first YouTube show, we talked about our draft that we had several months
Absolutely.
ago. About we did a draft, and it was during draft season, right after Fox bought the rights to SmackDown, so now they're doing that live. And Kyle decided, let's do a mock draft. And I said, you know what? Let's do a mock draft. Me and him went back and forth for about 20 minutes and trying to figure out who would have the better roster. And we said over on Sunday night that we should go back and review the draft.
Okay, so how would you like to do this? You see the list as I see it. Would you like to go through your roster first?
You can go through yours first. You can go through the SmackDown.
All right. So how are we evaluating this? Are we just doing a general, just kind of a state of the roster, state of
the roster.
All right. I will try and get through these as quickly as possible. AJ Styles was my number one pick. On Friday Night SmackDown, that was the show that I chose. AJ Styles was number one. Currently, we don't really know if he's still buried alive. I think I saw him on Twitch yesterday, so I think he made it out the grave. But generally speaking, I don't know when he's gonna come back. Who knows? I would imagine it would be a little while before we see him again. But AJ, I thought promo-wise, even though the direction was a little weird and him calling out Michelle McCool was kind of relatively out of nowhere, his goading and how his promos were delivered ended up giving The Undertaker the fuel to deliver one of his best promos I've ever heard him cut. I believe it was the Go Home show.
Yes.
Yeah, that I have gone back and I've watched that Undertaker promo several times, and it is the stuff of legend. And AJ Styles was a significant part of helping to carry that feud. So nice job by him. The Undisputed Era was my number two pick. They are the top group in NXT. Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong. They are four of the very best at what they do. Shout out to Chris Jericho. But as a unit, they're really untouchable, and I defy anybody to name a faction anywhere else in any company on any brand that does what they do better. I'm waiting. Pac, you would know because you watch AEW. When we drafted these, I was watching AEW at the time. I would imagine he's not really, he hasn't been seen for a while.
He's got a bit of ghost.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense with all that's going on. But he did beat Orange Cassidy, right? at the pay-per-view.
Yes.
And we will get back to him because we have to talk about him. Charlotte Flair, the new NXT Women's Champion. You can't have a women's division without the best women's wrestler on the planet. And to me, that is unequivocally Charlotte Flair.
Now, not to cut you off there, but could you enlarge that for me a smidgen?
Well, I could enlarge the text for you.
That works.
Okay. I'm sorry, brother.
Hey, there we go.
There you go. All right. Sorry, man. It's a bootleg version of Word, so
It's cool.
So I can't get the columns right.
A big shout out to Microsoft.
Hey, absolutely. I mean, even though they charge for programs and stuff like that, man, it happens.
Send us free Word.
Send us free Word, free Excel, free PowerPoint. What's the other one?
PowerPoint. Drew Gulak, come on.
All right. Private Party. Now, have they been on AEW recently?
They've been off and on. Not so much lately.
They might be doing stuff on Dark. I know when this draft was going on, they were kind of just doing half and half, doing the main show and AEW Dark. Brock Lesnar was my number 6. He's the biggest box office attraction that can regularly appear on your show. Just lost to Drew McIntyre, but come on, he could show up tomorrow and be instantly credible. Jon Moxley, current AEW champion, he can talk his way into filling a 20,000 seat arena. He's that good. And he has that believability you really can't miss. Bianca Belair, what I said about her earlier was true. She is a star.
You know what? Can I pause you for 1 second? Because we are getting a call.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Hello. On your end, hello, caller.
Hey, what's happening, boys?
Hey,
none other than Z.
what's happening,
How's it
bruh?
going, boys? Hanging out. How's things, all right?
Absolutely. Welcome to the initial, or I should say, the second show of the Atomic Drop Show on YouTube.
Well, very pleasure to be here. Appreciate you guys having me.
The next time you call in, we will figure out the music situation so we can get your theme back, you know?
Yeah, I understand, man. Just working out the bugs right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yo, how you holding up right now, man?
Well, I'm yawning right now, so hopefully it's not contagious to everybody.
Yeah, you should have heard us before the show. But, but we'll just kayfabe that.
Things, we got our health, man. We got our health. Things are, could be worse.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, I think at this point right now, as long as we can stay healthy, we'll eventually be back to normal. But eventually, right now is pending, and it could be pending for a while.
Right.
Absolutely. But with that all said, we're coming hot off WrestleMania. Tell me what your thoughts were of WrestleMania.
Well, I think they made a half glass of lemonade with some lemons. I think they did the best they could with what they had to work with. I was very impressed with the Boneyard and the Funhouse match. They definitely saved the show, that's for sure. Without those, I think it would have just been like another Monday or a Friday night, to be honest.
Very strong words right there. Kyle, your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, that was a general consensus that I saw online that, beyond those two cinematic matches, it like the matches generally felt like Raw or SmackDown matches, but that's just because they've been taping everything from the PC. And I think part not all of the reason, but part of the reason why people enjoyed those two matches so much was because they were completely different, and they were, outside of the normal confines of the PC, which is pretty massive, but still it's not that same sterile environment which WWE has typically been criticized for. So but I will say though that there's a difference for some of the matches. Like, you won't see a crazy ladder match with Morrison, Uso, and Kofi Kingston on a random SmackDown episode. So like, there are certain, stip matches you won't see the long drawn out 87-minute long match with Edge and Randy Orton. You won't see that. So there were some differences in match length that made it stand out. Sometimes for the better, sometimes not, though.
I agree. I do feel that the Edge and Orton match, I think, would have been more memorable if it was shorter.
Absolutely.
I feel that the ladder match, I think is like the stepchild of the event, because it was definitely a great match. And just the proof was like, I haven't even thought about that match until you just brought it up. So,
Same here.
And from that standpoint, like I said, they did the best with what they had to work with, and that's really like the bottom line with that. So, from a humanitarian standpoint, I don't know. Like, I'll be honest with you, kind of lost a little respect from Vince McMahon. I mean, and like the way it was dragged out, as far as the postponement, like everything in sight was being postponed, but not WrestleMania with 70,000 people. Like, and for them to be such at least they try to put on the facade of, being leaders and do what's right and all that nonsense. I mean, Vince held out for the almighty buck as long as he could. And I don't know. That just made me really kind of like digest who he's really been this whole time, which is, an evil Mr. McMahon.
Well, I mean, we've kind of known, or we've had clues and glimpses into that part of his real life character.
Saudi money.
So, we shouldn't necessarily be surprised by that. But I will also say, and I am in no way defending him and defending the decision. As a resident of Florida currently, we have very dumb leaders.
Local Florida man talks professional wrestling.
No. I am a Cali man who has relocated to Florida for the time being. I am not Florida man. Anyway,
residential Florida man.
Stop it right now. So we have leaders here who are not willing to make the decision themselves, and like, we still have beaches open here. It's ridiculous. So I don't necessarily think Vince is in the clear, but even state officials and local officials in the area, they weren't exactly itching to have the thing canceled too, because it's all lost revenue for everybody. But yeah, we kind of know what's at stake here. All the money. We know who's gonna stand to benefit and who would stand to lose by canceling such a massive show. And I think the wrestlers tried hard. The production crew tried hard. We got two really different and interesting matches between The Undertaker and AJ Styles and John Cena and Bray Wyatt, but it just didn't feel quite like the normal WrestleMania. But sometimes different can be good. Sometimes.
I agree. With their backs to the corner, I think they did the best they could with what they had to work with. In the perfect world, it would have been nice to just pause everything and resume it. But once again, that would mean no more sponsor money, and I guess we need to make sure those sponsors keep on paying us. So
WWE, they I've seen a lot of people come down hard on WWE and on AEW for continuing to tape television, and I'm like, they have people and they have masters to serve here, because they have sponsors, they have network obligations, they have all these things that they and all these quotas they have to meet in order to get paid, so that they can pay all their talent and pay all their staff. And so it just makes too much sense to have them continue on.
So what do you call the sponsorships and all the season ticket holders for NHL and NBA?
Oh, I the same thing completely applies. The only difference that I could see is in the NHL, in the NFL, in Major League Baseball, in the NBA, there are multiple owners. And so so because of that, there is a shared and please correct me if I'm wrong, but there is a shared interest, and there is a shared hit financially. And so instead of one person standing to lose, standing to lose a dozen, like $10+ million on an entire weekend, you'll have 30 to 32 owners kind of splitting that cost. I don't think the situation is any, I'm not saying Vince is in the right, but I think that's the difference. That's the only difference. But Vince knew what he was getting into, when he bought the company from his dad. Obviously, nobody expected this pandemic. Nobody expected any of this. But when you're in a business such as this, when you're not self-funded because you do have stockholders, but when you're taking this on kind of by yourself, it's the risk you run. And but I can tell you this: they are damn sure they are extremely proud to have that performance center, because if they didn't, they would be SOL. So I know they are happy about that investment, because there wouldn't have been any WrestleMania. There would be no Raws. They would have tried to pull a Dana White to try and have a private island, just rent it out. They might have just rented an airplane and had matches on the airplane, and then just take that. They would have found some kind of way to have Raw, to have Mania, to have SmackDown, all that stuff.
Jim Cornette was quoted as saying, "Come hell or high water or a zombie apocalypse, Vince McMahon will produce WrestleMania."
Always.
And this is just 100% pure fact that he is right. I mean, there is nothing that was going to stop him from producing this show or getting it out there. He said, not even an act of God would stop him. And this is like definitive proof.
I mean, absolutely. Vince McMahon went out ever defiant and was like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna do this. I don't care what's going on in the world." So much so that he's refusing to allow on-air talent, drop the name of the virus. They'll always skirt around the issue, and say due to current circumstances, like he's basically trying to no sell the virus, while at the same time
That's it.
While at the same time having to change everything. It's an interesting conversation though. So thanks for bringing that up, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, Jimmy.
Yeah, well, you're welcome, man. But yeah, that no mention of the virus has been pretty lame too.
Absolutely.
Well, it's no different than having, medical facilities being said instead of hospitals. It's just one of Vince McMahon's Vinceisms.
Yeah. So, another thing too, I said to myself was like, well, all right, well, maybe now that Mania is over, they'll give it a break. And then during Mania, you got your Money in the Bank commercial. So I'm like, well, I guess we can throw that one out the drain.
Yeah. Money in the Bank. Maybe they were gonna have Money in the Bank during this month the entire time, but it seems like they might just go to the well as far as whatever kind of gimmicks they have to try and draw as many people to kind of just tide them over, just hold them over until we can get everybody in mass gatherings again, which we just don't know when that's going to be. But it seems like, it's Money in the Bank coming up this month. Next month, I bet you're gonna have like they might move up Hell in a Cell, or then the next month they'll have like SummerSlam, and then like the month after that,
Night of Champions. No,
after that,
hey, who wants to have a King of the Ring?
Right. You get the King of the Ring, and then the Greater is Royal Rumble after that. Who
wants a Starrcade? You want a Starrcade? Yeah, let's get it and start. Halloween Havoc in April? Come on.
Smackville, Beast in the East, all that stuff.
Roadblock and all that other random bullshit.
Wait. Roadblock or Roadblock End of the Line?
It surprised me. You can break it up into two separate.
I like it. Let's put them all on the network.
We have Sold Out too. I mean,
oh god,
hell yeah,
Sold Out. But yeah, man, it
December to December in August.
No, we don't talk about Fight Club like that. No, we ain't doing that. There will be no Extreme Elimination Chambers ever again. Especially not with Heyman in charge. I'm sorry, brother. So that's it.
Boo.
Right. So Money in the Bank is coming up. They're advertising it. I don't know what they're gonna do. It's kind of weird because they just had a ladder match on the WrestleMania card just a few weeks ago. Just seems weird to just turn around and be like, "Hey, watch people do it again." It just seems counterintuitive, but WWE is continuing to they're continuing to soldier on, and
they're going hog wild.
All right, so are you just gonna fit all the old pay-per-view names that you can think of in the conversation for the rest of the show?
Great American Bash.
Aw.
It's happening. My baby. You know how much I love the Bash.
Hey, by the way, did you know that video got blocked?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's my favorite damn video ever. Favorite cell.
We can still watch it if you log in, but the general public, we
We were big in India.
we were massive in we were the precursors to Jinder Mahal. Look, we'll have to give you listeners some background on that, and we can do that at a later time. But we've been doing this for a very long time, doing kind of crazy stuff, crazy content, some of which you can relive right here on this channel, youtube.com/The Atomic Drop Show. But anything else you want to talk about from the week that was in wrestling? Whether it's WWE, AEW, whatever, wherever. Talk about it, man. If you got anything on your mind.
I don't really got nothing, man. I didn't watch anything yesterday. I really have no idea what happened yesterday. You know, I was pretty bummed that we did that. I mean, I had Mania tickets, so like I was actually pretty bummed about the whole thing. But you know, in retrospect, everybody I know is healthy, so that's like at this point really all that matters.
That's the most important part, most assuredly. But you brought up a point that I wanted to ask about. So what was the refund situation like? Like, did they reach out to you directly and say, hey, so as you know, we can't make this event happen? Did they offer refunds? Did they say, we'll honor this at a later date? What was that situation like, if you don't mind getting into it?
Here, enjoy a free month of WWE Network on us.
Fam, that's what they tried to pay me when I was doing their mashups. And I'm like, I already own the network. And they're like, oh, do you want an Xbox Live gift card? I'll take that.
Yeah.
Sorry. So
well, I got the tickets off of StubHub, so my refund was with them.
Okay.
And the refund that they offered was the full value of the tickets back in cash, or 120% back in credit.
Okay.
So I took the 120 back because I'm definitely going to spend tickets. I mean, I'll be honest with you. The tickets, the pair was $3,500. So I mean, I got $700 on top of that. But that just means that I'm going to have to buy a lot of tickets this year, because not all pairs of tickets cost $3,500 like WrestleMania.
$3,500. Wow, man. That's a bummer, man. Like just hearing and just being reminded of how many people were gonna come down. I was gonna be down there. I didn't know you were going. I guess I should probably assume, just because you have this track record of being everywhere at like all the marquee wrestling events. But like there were lots of events set to happen, WWE, Indies. I had a couple parties with some VIPs, man, and it's like, dude, that sucks. Like, it was going to be my first ever Mania 2, and we lose out on that opportunity. But at the end of the day, the concern was greater than the loss of that experience, because
well, everything happened so fast. I mean, realistically, I bought my tickets. I bought my tickets like the week before that, with intention of, okay, this is not going to be a big deal. It'll be just fine. It's just going to be the flu. It's not going to be a big deal. Like, that's all media was saying, right, until it became a big deal, and so it was wild. So even like the week after, we're like, all right, we'll be cool. Like, everything will be fine. And then a week later, it's like, all right, it's getting real now.
Everything happened and turned so quick that No, it kind of just left your head spinning. Um, if you don't mind me asking, what's your status? I know your establishment. That mug is usually always packed. Are you open currently? What's the status of your of your restaurant?
We actually, although we are allowed to be open for takeout and delivery, we actually closed on March 16th, and we've been closed since then, and it was just too high risk for myself personally, with the fact that you could have asymptomatic people, and to know that I could have either a cook or a counter person either asymptomatic or have a customer asymptomatic come to the window for their food, and now it's just going to spread. So I took it upon just made an executive decision that this is not a safe working environment, and we've been closed. So right now our ultimate goal is to once this curve flattens and stays and continues to drop, hopefully by the end of the month we'll be back in business and ready to rock and roll.
No, man, I hear you, and it seems like you're doing the best you can to preserve yourself and your staff. Health and safety is always the biggest priority, and not everybody is just even to this day. Just even in my state, not everybody is taking this seriously even still, and I don't understand it. I hope that for your sake and for for everybody's sake that we can get back to normal. Whatever normal may look like, it's probably going to be a new normal, but hopefully we can get you guys back open and just get things rolling again, because it's a weird time and everything is affected. Obviously this is much bigger than wrestling, but it's just a crazy time, and
it is.
Just want there to be some kind of normalcy again, hopefully sooner rather than later. Justin, you got anything for Jimmy, buddy?
No, I'm gonna be hopefully talking to Jimmy next week on a part 2 episode of Potting Around Rochester.
Hey,
content's king, and I got to go back to the well, and no better well than my buddy Jimmy Z over there.
Yeah, we'll be taking care of that next week. So, but I appreciate you guys having me on, and you guys have a great rest of your week.
You too, man.
All right, take it easy, brother.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm gonna do the music. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
There you go. And there goes Jimmy Z right there.
We usually have music for our regular guests, and we had AC/DC for our main man Jimmy Z, but like I said, soon enough we will get the music situation squared away, and I will figure this out. I am a novice. Hopefully we're still in the air. And
we're still live.
Beautiful. I was gonna ask you, but we were already on the air. So anyway, the Atomic Drop Show is here once again. If you want to be like Jimmy Z, if you want to be my lover, you gotta get with my friends and call 803-369-3537. That is 803-369-3537. 3537. Talk a little wrestling with us here on the Atomic Drop Show. We have a little bit to go here, so join in the conversation. Don't be shy.
Let's hit back up that draft there.
All right, so let me continue to go back to my list here. I will try and be quick. The Lucha Brothers, I mean, to me, they're the best tag team on the planet, even more so than the Young Bucks. Like, I love Penta and Phoenix. They are awesome. Big E, he is, to me, the future standout of the New Day. I love Woods. I love Kofi. But Big E is that, like, he's ready-made main eventer right now. He has legitimately everything. And he round up my top 10. Isaiah Swerve Scott, I think he is a mega star. I am completely biased.
Slightly.
Yes, but I get it. But he is, he legit has everything. I've seen it up close firsthand before we were even friends. Back, if I could be completely honest, back when he was a dick to me. When we were both at PCW Ultra in LA, even still, I knew it. We all knew it, that he had something in him, and hopefully he will be entered into the NXT Cruiserweight Championship interim tournament, and we will see a.
Are they doing that again?
They are, because Jordan Devlin won the championship at Worlds Collide back Royal Rumble weekend, and he's in the UK and there's no travel, so they decided to create an interim champion in the meantime, and they're going to start with those matches. I don't recall if it's only on NXT or if it's on 205 Live as well. I'll have to check and see. But
Bitchin'.
Yeah, man, I love a good tournament, and I love the cruiserweights, and I love Swerve. So I hope he goes really far in that one. Asuka, you need the counterpoint to Charlotte. You need a counterpoint to the immense star power, but relative inexperience of Bianca Belair. So you have an incredible veteran in Asuka who can play both sides of the fence, heel or babyface, and be convincing and bring instant credibility. Andrade, you need a Latin star who can go in the ring. He's a good-looking guy if he can stay healthy, if he can stay, on your roster. If he can,
I see what you did there.
Then I think he's extremely valuable. Number 14,
You got Charlotte and you got Andrade on the same roster. You're trying to keep couples together. Look at you, man.
Well, I'm trying to think if there's anybody. I don't have, which is weird. You might have drafted him. I don't know. I don't have the Street Profits. So actually, Bianca Belair would be broken up. So womp womp.
Oh, you got Private Party because you were torn between Private Party and the Street Profits.
Yes. All right. Well, real quick, I will round this out. 14, The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. You need big, larger-than-life characters that you can plug in and out of main events with or without the title. He's that guy. Daniel Bryan, all-around great technician, can also play both sides, but he has immense fan support. Plus, he knows what the heck he's doing between those ropes. And if you're looking for great matches and convincing promos, he's your guy. Heavyweight division, cruiserweight division. He is the perfect complement to my roster, and that's why he was number 15. Kevin Owens, another guy who you can, in theory, go back and forth between the main event and the mid card. Promos are his strong suit. He could also wrestle hella well. I mean, you really can't beat him. The Usos, another top tag team. They are infinitely miles better than the Revival. Todd Orndorff,
Yeah.
Come fight me on that. I will never surrender that point. The Usos are the better tag team. They are better than the Revival. They are better than
Who's still on TV? And who's still on TV?
But that's not. I don't believe that's the Revival's fault. I want to say, is it Weiler, or I think it's Dawson that's injured, and that's why they're not on TV, or something like that. I mean, I forget. Rhea Ripley, the Nightmare, another super young women's star, but she could headline your brand for years to come. You need her. Cesaro, the ultimate veteran, male veteran who can get you classic matches all the time without even trying. It's too perfect. Matt Riddle, I mean, bro.
Ooh.
You have to put him in positions to shine, and you probably have to maybe put him with a tag team partner, because there are some limitations to him, but I think he's doing really well with Pete Dunne as NXT Tag Champs. Velveteen Dream, he's green, but charisma up the wazoo. You gotta draft him. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, you have to tell me how they're doing on AEW.
They're shining.
Yeah, what I've seen of them, they look good. They are performing well when there were crowds, still getting huge reactions. They're onto something there. And number 23, my last pick, the big dog, Roman Reigns. He is WWE's current biggest full-time star. And he's one of those guys who you can plug in, certainly at the top of the card, but you can rotate him in and out. He's just going to be that standard bearer. So that was my list of 23, and that was SmackDown. For Raw,
Right.
I will let you go.
All right.
Here you go.
So I'm not going to break it down as quick. My number one was Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe, as I stated earlier in the podcast, he is a great ground and pound kind of guy. He's a guy that you can get behind. You know what you're going to get with Joe. You know you're going to get hardcore, heavy level, just technical wrestling. Number 2 pick was Johnny Gargano. As everybody saw last night, Gargano just on top of his game. Him and Joe in a technical match, I would just sit there and I would just drool all over that.
I don't know if we ever saw that when Joe was down there as champion. I don't know. That match doesn't sound familiar. Maybe I'm just forgetting, but that is mouth watering for sure.
Excuse me, yard.
Here we go. See,
Yeah, no.
so Jimmy Z got you going,
10:56. 10:56.
All right.
Number 3, Walter, just a big old power heavyweight, super heavyweight coming from the UK.
I'm still bitter you drafted him before I did. Still bitter about that.
I know. Number 4, the man, Becky Lynch.
I'm bitter about her too.
Number 5, the Revival, only because, like I said, they fit in that ground and pound technical wrestling. No flips, all fists. I love that style of wrestling. I am probably the most technical wrestling fan you will probably ever meet.
I am not jealous about that. They are perfectly fine. They are good, but they're not as cracked, or they're not as awesome as everybody makes them out to be. That's just me.
Number 6, the Drifter, Elias.
Is he still a drifter?
A lot. You know what? I like to refer to him as a Drifter.
Yeah.
He looks like a Drifter.
He still looks like a drifter, but they got rid of his really good music, and that bums me out. His original down 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 down.
I love that one.
Yeah. Still bothered.
Number 7, Ruby Riott to counteract Becky Lynch. Ruby Riott, great veteran out there. Worked the independent scenes forever. She knows the ring in and out. She was brought in to help out with Liv Morgan right now. If they ever go back to that, Lord only knows what the hell they're doing now. To help carry Liv Morgan matches.
Hey, she's been doing good, kind of by herself. Like she wrestled Natty, which sure, let's say, fine, she was wrestling Natty. So, but Liv held her own, and then she wrestled. Oh, who did she face on Monday night? Oh crap, she faced Oh, I'll figure it out. Continue with the list, and I'll figure out who Liv faced on Monday.
All right. Number 8, Shorty G, Chad Gable.
Shorty G,
him and Joe and Gargano. I mean, that's just a huge triple threat match that I would want. Number 9, Jack Hager from the Inner Circle. I love Jack Swagger. I love Jake Hager. He's just a great all the way around wrestler. Number 10, none other than my boy Drew Gulak. Gulak.
Oh yeah.
It rhymes with attack. Oh yeah. Number 11, Buddy Murphy, or now just Murphy. Oh, look at that number 12 right there. None other than Drew McIntyre. Oh, baby. I knew something back when I did this draft.
It's the champ.
He is the champ. All right. Where did I leave off there? Number 13, Aleister Black. 14, Braun Strowman to counteract Drew McIntyre.
Both champions now.
15.
Nice job.
I know. Thank you. 15, EC3.
Wow. All right, man. EC3.
Okay, let's break down EC3.
Yeah. I'll let you. Like, there's a couple where I was like, really, but EC3, man, I gotta stop you.
All right. Why?
Just. I mean, I know that his potential. It seems like his potential always outpaces his actual output. And so I've always felt a little underwhelmed. His promos in Impact Wrestling, which you never watched, like they were always really good. But there was just something missing. And whatever it was that Vince didn't see, I mean, he's a body guy. Vince is a body guy, and EC3.
Oh God.
And EC3 is the quintessential body guy. So if it was indeed the rumored deal with Dean Ambrose as he was on his way out and Dean getting cheered, I don't know if it was that, but whatever it was, EC3 being wasted or him not getting a bunch of opportunities is just baffling.
He's going back. He will probably go back to TNA, or obviously he will be sent over to friggin' AEW.
Yeah, I could probably see Impact more than AEW, because typically the work rate is higher, and EC3 he is serviceable, and he can be good paired with the right opponent. I just don't know if generally the style you would need in AEW is something he could pick up within the time that he's still a big star, just off of those first few weeks of them potentially picking him up.
Totally agree. Number 16, the B team.
Hold up. I gotta stop you here too.
It's okay.
All right. So what's the deal with the B team? Why did you pick them at the time, and how do you feel about them currently?
Well, I needed entertainment value.
That's true.
And I still feel that they fill that void perfectly. I always love Curtis Axel as Michael McGillicuddy. I am a huge Perfect Mark, and I believe that he is a hell of a sleeper. Same with Bo Dallas. They are sleepers. They just need the right gimmick, the right spark, and to relaunch them. I mean, if that takes them back down to NXT, send them back down to NXT. But they are sleepers.
They are blue chipper athletes. They have the pedigree. They have everything really that you need, every excuse to push them. But I guess I'd rather be not pushed and still have a consistent job than to be pushed and potentially not have it pan out so well and then just immediately let go. Because guys like Axel and Dallas, you know, they probably have very steady paychecks and they have kind of this certainty of like, look, nobody accuses them of blowing any matches in, you know, nothing crazy like that. So it's probably a sweet gig to have, even if I bet at some point you'd want to be on TV.
Totally agree. All right, number 17, AOP.
What's your current evaluation for them? They were doing, what's happening?
They're not doing too much now. Kind of just sitting around.
I know that they were
in their whole WWE call-up career.
They were doing some of the straight or the straight edge. He's not straight edge. The Monday Night Messiah deal, and they were part of his flock and all this kind of stuff. Of a Seth.
Okay, right.
Sorry, who?
I said, okay, Raven.
Hey, quote the Raven. Nevermore. Yo, Raven was really good at being miserable. Hey. So, in the next 20 years, when we're doing our 20th anniversary special, drop that in the, just drop that in the highlight reel, please. I'm begging you.
I'm going to write this down right now. Here we go. There's the click of the pen.
Please mark it down.
Raven is good at being miserable. Okay, I'm going to date this for today's date, 4/9/20. Okay.
Wonderful.
It's on the books. That might be the quote of the damn year. We're only in April.
Hey, look, there's a lot more year to go, but I'll take it. I'll take it.
Okay, 17 AOP. They're just kind of sitting around doing nothing. Kind of a sleeper.
Yeah.
Number 18, Miss Bliss, Little Miss Bliss.
I'm low key bothered you drafted her before I could too, but hey, do what you got to do. A very good pick, because she has proven herself to be very flexible and valuable depending on the kind of role you want her in as well.
All right, number 19, the Bruiserweight, Pete Dunne.
Why do you call him Pete Dunne? Pete Dunne, man.
Pete Dunne. Sorry, Pete Dunne. I'm sorry.
Pete Dunne. Time to drill. Wait.
I was gonna call him Pete Gas for a split second.
Oh, is he chilling with Rodney and
Joey
the other Joey? I always forget Joey Abs.
I love the Mean Street Posse. Fun fact: in high school, I used to wear a sweater vest because of them.
And did you get picked on?
Hell no.
I think there's a lie in there somewhere.
No. I believe it or not, just a couple of years ago, maybe about 2-3 years ago, I bought myself a new sweater vest. Bringing it back, baby. Mean Streets of Greenwich.
Please tell me you wear it to this day.
I still do.
Oh, that's no good. That's not good.
Quite proud. Number 20, Finn Balor. Finn Balor is now a star over in the UK. Good on him. He's going to be fiddling around over there with Walter.
Whenever that's back up, absolutely.
21, the Viper, Orton. Still very happy with that pick. Orton's one of them all around perfect ones, kind of just like Bliss. You throw him in wherever, and he'll just work his magic.
You can never, ever be dissatisfied with Randy Orton. He's always going to give you star power. He's always going to give you a certain level of quality. Like, even the matches when Orton is supposedly phoning it in, he's still giving you better than a percentage of the roster because he's just that naturally gifted. It is remarkable how good he does.
Now, I got to ask you something.
Sure, what's up?
Let's go back in time in 2008.
All right. Let's do it.
All right. Doodaloo, 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 doodaloo. Are we still the world's biggest mark for Randall Keith Orton as we were back in 08 to 2020?
So I was a really big fan of the Legend Killer gimmick. And he was still, like, it was kind of toward the end, but he was still doing the Legend Killer stuff. And so I liked him kind of taking out these older guys and just being this presence of kind of like anti-authority. And now he doesn't really have that same character arc. So I can't say I'm as big of a fan, but I still really do enjoy his work. I do think that there is life if he wants to turn from the Legend Killer at some point to the Killer Legend and start just murking young guys. Like, call up, like there should be, just spitballing ideas just to show you why I don't deserve to be in WWE. Every time there is a call up, you should have to earn your spot. Kind of like like a gang initiation. Like you should have to dethrone Randy Orton. So say, say on Monday Night Raw there was just out of nowhere they called up Angel Garza and then they called up Austin Theory. Now, extenuating circumstances happen. I get it. Just in a general sense, if this was a
fantasy time,
right. So if this was, in front of crowds, if there wasn't this pandemic, if there was just this natural occurrence of events happening, if you wanted to call Austin Theory up, Theory should have to beat Randy Orton. Whether it's a fluke, whether you do it freaking Maven Undertaker style, whether it's just any kind of thing to at least get a submission victory or a pinfall, you have to beat Randy Orton. Otherwise, you just have Orton pick young guys off, hit him with RKOs from out of nowhere, and he just becomes the Killer Legend. I think you could get, it's just like I was saying at the end of the Boneyard match. Taker bought himself 5 more years of doing these Boneyard matches. I think you could get another 5 years of Orton doing this Killer Legend gimmick if they wanted to go that particular route.
Totally agree. I mean, even Mick Foley tweeted out that he wants to be part of the next Boneyard match.
Man, I've seen Foley. I worked with him. When I saw him, he looked good. And then I think a couple years like a month or two later, he was named as part of the or he was back on Raw as like a GM, and he didn't look in that great a shape. So if he's able to remain healthy,
it's a long way until the next one.
Against my better judgment, I'm thinking, what the heck? I sure, but yeah. I there are certain guys that really just need to leave things alone, and Foley might be one. He's had an awesome career, awesome career, but not sure about that Kimasabe.
All right, number 22. This one did not age well at all, which is Harper and Rowan. Yeah, I don't know how to even dissect this one.
Did we ever figure out what's in Rowan's case?
It was a mechanical spider. And then what ended up happening was Vince saw how horrible it was, and it was like one of them Spencer ones that you would walk past on a trackpad and would just come out and go meh at you.
I've never had that particular experience, but I can imagine.
Meh.
Meh.
Meh. And it's like one of those stupid ones you step on it and lunges out at you and goes away. So shockingly, within the next week, Drew McIntyre got the steel steps and just smashed the hell out of it.
Dude.
And killed it.
Yikes.
All that build up for a one night. And Mojo Rollins, bless him. He was the one that peeked inside of the cage a few weeks before it was revealed, if you remember that.
I don't, actually.
All right. So Mojo Rowan said, you know what? Take a look. And then he took a look at it and jumped back and called him like a sick freak. And then tweeted out afterwards saying, it looks scarier than it was during that point in time.
It's nice to know.
Trust me.
Nice to know.
It is. And number 23, none other than my two personal favorite underdogs, Hawkins and Ryder. Because you need to have some underdogs.
Yeah, and Ryder and Hawkins. Now, I forget. At this point, were they still doing the losing streak, or had they'd already won the belts?
Oh, that was over. Yep, they already won.
Okay. So I'm not gonna ask our listeners to judge the better roster because that's not particularly fair. But there's been there's Harper. I'm trying to see who has switched over from AEW, or from WWE to AEW, and I'm just seeing Harper, and hey man, if you see anybody, then stop me and let me know.
Oh, no problem. This is a riveting podcast right now for everybody listening.
Y'all can call in. Kinda. 803-369-3537. That is the number tonight and always. So if you are joining us after the fact on either YouTube, or if you're checking us out on the wonderful Anchor FM platform, we air every single Thursday night. We are committed to it. We are here on YouTube every Thursday night. Call in 803-369-3537, and we start at 9 o'clock. Ish. Luckily on YouTube we can set the times like by 5-minute intervals. So if you set something up in your
hit that subscribe button. It's pretty much what we're asking you to do.
That's probably like the best way to do it. Hit the subscribe button.
Smash that like button. I've always wanted to say that. I've seen enough YouTube influencers to say that.
Smash that like button, bro. Smash the like button. Yeah.
Subscribe. You see the little bell up there? You know that when you see that bell goes off, man, new episode's up. Be one of the first. Comment. There you go. Yeah, we're not like that at all.
We really aren't.
Subscribers would be nice.
Yes.
We'd like to get a nice YouTube plaque sometime.
Oh, man, I would love it. I love it. So that was our draft update here, and you know, there's been
It worked out well.
yeah, man. I think we both have good rosters, and I think we were trying to create different kinds of shows, and that's okay because we are free to be different and free to have varying competing differences of how you want to present a show. Ask Raw and AEW, ask AEW and NXT, ask NXT and Raw or SmackDown. So, really interesting stuff. So we are nearing the 2-hour mark here on the Atomic Drop Show. Would you like to cover anything really quick, or what's on your mind here as we probably start to wind things down a little bit?
I ain't got too much to say, man. It's I think we've covered some of what we wanted to talk about. If you want, we did speak about the Dark Side of the Moon, or do we want to talk about Orange Cassidy? Dark Side of the Moon. Dark Side of the
I was
Ring.
gonna say like Dark Side of the Moon. Hey, you. Oh wait, no, that was Good Night Moon, not Dark Side. What was Dark Side of the Moon?
That was the Pink Floyd album. Or was it Pink Floyd or Led Zeppelin? It was one of the other. And if you played it and you synced it up just right to Wizard of Oz, it played along with it.
Wow. I am grateful for that tip because I did not know. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
So real quick, let me get into Dark Side of the Ring. First, I'll ask you, Justin. Have you seen any of the show from last season, from the first season?
I have not.
Oh, brother.
I am a horrible, horrible person.
Well, don't go that far. But guess what? You're in luck because we're on YouTube. And you can go on YouTube when the show ends or when you wake up or, just whenever you're going out and about doing your errands. And you can check out at least season 1. These are really, really faithfully recreated and faithfully researched shows on the biggest scandals and infamous figures in wrestling. Last night they had, I'm sorry, not last night. They had, was it Tuesday night? They had the Brawl for All, which is something I was always a fan of just as a kid. Didn't really understand why, because I went back and I watched some of those clips and this was just awful. It was the Drizzlins. But I was still a massive fan. They had Chris Benoit part 1 and 2 a couple weeks ago. They had New Jack on last week. In season 1, Bruiser Brodie, the Fabulous Moolah, Gino Hernandez, just all of these interesting stories, and it's a really, really well done story. Each show is a well done story. You just gotta bring all the tissue for Chris Benoit because they dive into Eddie Guerrero and it gets really, really sad. Like, really, like, really sad and really dark. It's kind of unpleasant after a while. But, yeah, you have to watch it. I'm gonna, like, when I get off of the line here, I'm gonna go probably to sleep. But when I wake up tomorrow, I'm going to check out the Brawl for All episode because that is a callback to my childhood that I just can't fake. Like, it's awesome.
Excellent.
Now you mentioned Orange Cassidy, right?
Yes.
So yeah, like I don't get the whole deal. Like I'm not a regular AEW viewer, at least not anymore. What's the meaning with his like little shin kicks and his like and his little halfway thumb up? What's that whole thing about? You feel me?
He's just freshly squeezed.
What does that even mean?
He sounded so Jericho-ish.
I mean, it is what it is.
What does it even mean?
I'm trying to figure it out.
Nobody can explain the phenomenon that is Orange Cassidy.
And how?
There is no answer. What I do know is that I was listening to we mentioned him earlier, Mark Henry.
Yeah.
And he said that what they need to do is somehow get that championship belt on Orange Cassidy because he is the most over person in AEW.
Wow.
He said if you were to build a roster, you start with Orange Cassidy.
Seriously? All right.
Seriously.
I just have to. I guess I have to watch again. Just go and search some matches, or something. But there was a massive disconnect for me. But I understand that I'm not like everybody, and he's popular for a reason. And
it's the effect of how you dig Matt Riddle and I can dig Orange Cassidy.
Sure.
It's like I don't get the bro. You got the Cali life, man. You understand it, but I don't get the attachment to Matt Riddle in any way, shape, or form.
Sure.
Same with Velveteen Dream. Don't get it, man.
Yeah.
But with Orange, it's just like, hey, he's a fun dude just doing his own thing. And now try to get like explain to Vince the guy's going to wrestle, but keep his hands in his pockets. Explain that to the old man.
He wouldn't get it.
Nobody over there would. I bet you Hunter would.
Yeah.
I feel like he would probably get it. But anybody in the main roster? Hell no. No one else will get that.
Yeah, probably true.
But he is the most over thing in AEW.
I will take your word for it. All right, so then I have to have homework then. I got to go.
You did. Do you remember it was a couple of weeks ago where Cassidy and Pac fought each other at the last pay-per-view?
I knew of it, but I didn't actually see it.
In the promo, one of the, I forget who said it, one of the best friends, I think it was Trent, and he said, you know what Orange Cassidy's going to do this time from any other match? He's going to try. And that just got the biggest pop of the night.
See, and in those moments, I'm like, why is everybody? I don't get it. But hey, I'm always open to minds being changed, and on the other side of it, I might become a fan yet.
See, there you go. But that is all that I have on top of my mind tonight.
That's about it for me too. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to the Atomic Drop Show wherever you are hearing this. We are on YouTube every Thursday night, roundabouts 9 o'clock. The number 803-369-3537. And I don't really have too much to plug other than PCW Ultra Mutiny every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. I edit, host, do all the crazy stuff for. The biggest thing, be safe.
Of course.
Wear whatever you have to do. I need to get better at that too, because I haven't been going on or been going out at all to begin with, but I haven't been going with face covering equipment. So even if you got to make it,
Come on.
do what you have to do. I know I'm trying to get better. And yeah, dude, like, we don't want anybody to suffer through this more than what they have to, and I'm just hoping that at some point we can get back to a new normal and get back to where we can embrace each other and be with family and friends and all that kind of stuff without fear of of something super bad happening to us. So
All right, so we're not really leaving on this corny or sadness. I do have one last question for you.
sure thing. Is it about Doink the Clown?
It's close near.
Okay.
So the fine people over at WrestleCrap.com.
Oh boy. Oh, here we go.
They are having the Final Four WrestleCrap Madness tournament, and they are trying to dub the worst wrestling gimmick of all time. Okay? And I'm going to read you the Final Four.
Okay.
Okay. David Arquette, WCW champion,
That.
versus the Yeti.
Okay.
And then we have none other than the Gobbledygooker versus Katie Vick.
Okay, so automatically, Arquette is out. Because it's not it's just, it's absurd, but well, like, even Arquette wasn't playing it straight face. Like he wasn't saying like, yeah, I'm the man. Like, it. You remember at the first Crown Jewel, might have been the second Crown Jewel, where they had the best in the world tournament to determine the best in the world.
Yeah. I think that was the second one.
All right, so the second one, and the Miz was set up like this babyface to fight, or to fight from behind through this leg injury, and then Shane McMahon came down, worked like 3 minutes, and celebrated like you won like the World Series, like won the Super Bowl all at once.
Yes.
And he just owned it. Arquette never did that. Arquette was like, I'm the champ, but this is stupid. Like, why doesn't DDP take it, or somebody else? Like, just anybody else. The Katie Vick, that's bad.
It's horrible.
The Gobbledygooker, I actually never really saw the Gobbledygooker, so I can't comment on it. And what was the other one again?
The Yeti.
Considering how much of a mass shortage there is of toilet paper, I am blaming the Yeti. Because he had
Solid choice.
Because he had rolls aplenty, had body rolls literally, and just wasted them. So he'd be my pick. What's your pick?
All right. My pick, I'm going to go. God, I might go Arquette Vic.
Okay.
I mean, those two are still very fresh in a lot of people's minds.
Right. Okay. I won't argue. Like, it's cool. All right, man.
And just remember that Raven is really good at being miserable.
He is the best at being miserable. He's really good at it. And don't you forget it.
Nope. It's written here in the ever famous notepad now.
The ever famous notepad, so famous that this is the first time I'm hearing it.
Yes, it just came out today.
Yeah, ever famous, as in you know, when have you ever talked about? Anyway, close the show out, man. I gotta go to bed. You gotta go to bed. It's 11:33. We are old men, so.
Darwin. All right. For Kyle Cruz, this is Justin Time, and we will catch you in 7.
Later.
See ya!
Hold up.
And that's that.